Welcome everybody to a look at the third film in the Shawscope Volume 3 box set, and it is 1971's The New One-Armed Swordsman. So yeah, this is once again directed by Chang Che. It's the third film in the One-Armed Swordsman series, and once again it is a wuxia film, clocking in at 102 minutes long. Stars the likes of David Chang Da-Wei, who I've seen in 8 other films. Favourites being the likes of The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, Five Shaolin Masters, The Boxer from Shantung, and Shaolin Temple. Also stars Tai Lung, who I've seen in both of the Better Tomorrow films, as well as Shatter and Drunken Master 2. So Lai Lei lost his right arm in a sword duel with the master of a martial arts school long ago. Now he is able to defend himself well with just his left arm and his kung fu technique. So this isn't quite as good as the two prior films, which is primarily down to the lead character being nowhere near as likable or as fleshed out as the lead character in the first two efforts, as obviously, as you probably gathered from the title, it's a completely different character now. But thankfully, this retains the majority of the positives of those two other films, while having some new aspects to keep things interesting and keep things fresh. So the tone, for instance, is slightly altered to be darker and moodier than before, and due to the reduced origin story, this features that bit more action than the first one-armed swordsman film, although nowhere near as much as the second effort. Speaking of the action though, it is once again excellent and it is well shot while having solid production value underpinning it throughout. So yeah, by no means as good as the first or second films, which I feel that were pretty much on par with one another. They both offered something unique and different to one another, where the first film offered plenty of the characterization and the backstory and the origin story and such for the character, but then the second film, because it didn't have to worry with any of that, went full blown with the action to the point where, yeah, it was able to rival some serial killer films from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So, yeah, but this is still a good effort. It's as good as you could probably hope for, given it's only going to be the one film, whereas the character in the previous two had two films to go through. But still, it's had a brand new 2K restoration, just like the Return of the One-Armed Swordsman did, which means it's on a high definition Blu-ray presentation. You got newly restored uncompressed Mandarin and English mono audio, as well as newly translated English subtitles for the film, plus optional hard of hearing subtitles for the English dub. Then you got a brand new commentary on the new one-armed swordsman by martial arts cinema expert Brian Bankston, and then a theatrical trailer on top of that as well. So yeah, not much to say really, because obviously we don't have a direct comparison to a prior film with the same characters to compare against, like we did with the Return of the One-Armed Swordsman. But on the whole, a really rather solid effort. And if it wasn't, linked to the two other films with the same kind of similar title, then it would be a perfectly solid film in its own right. And it certainly is if you were trying to separate it from those first two films. Because, like I said, the darker, moodier tone helps this. It's got quite a striking image of a sword through an arm attached to a tree, which over time goes into just a skeleton with the sword attached to it. So it's kind of like a gothic kind of thing to it as well. So there are nice touches like that to help separate it. But yeah, the lack of a likable lead character, although he does eventually become somewhat likable by the end of the film, there's a large proportion of it where he just isn't. He's smug, he's arrogant, he then becomes quite depressed and one note in terms of his performance. So yeah, I guess there is some character growth to be had with all of that, but it doesn't make for a wholly likable lead, unlike the first two films. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.